5 years ago I presented a few of these tips. These are really of interest to people who are using epoxy for modeling, and I present them here again. Little trick with epoxy, when these have been sitting on the shelf for a while, sometimes you'll find that one will get a little bit crystallized and it won't pour anymore. Pull the lid off of that, put that in the microwave just for about 10-15 seconds. Let it sit for a while, shake it around a little bit, see if it's all melted or come back to a good liquid. Easy does it. You don't want to cook it. You just want to melt that crystalline structure in there. I haven't noticed that it has affected the strength of the epoxy. Again, don't cook it. You're just trying to warm it up a little bit. Sometimes you'll find that your 6-minute or 30-minute epoxy is a bit too thick. You can take a little isopropyl alcohol and just a few drops at a time in a small container like this film can. Put the epoxy in there, mix it, add a few drops of alcohol, stir it real well. If you make it too thin, it won't go off. And if you push your luck on making it thin, sometimes it'll get rubbery. Just a few drops of isopropyl alcohol can thin this up quite a bit and make it a lot easier to use for some applications. And if you can still get any of these old film cans, I use the lids. I'll put a little bit of epoxy in there. I'll stir it up with a matchstick. You can leave the matchstick in there, it sets up, flex this thing and pop that old epoxy out of there, and you've got a handle to throw it off into the trash can. I've placed a little bit of epoxy in here. I'm going to mix it. I'm going to warm it up a little bit. It starts to thin up pretty quick. Now you can see the waves going across there that's caused by the heat gun. And that's usually far enough. That's now very liquid. You can pour that. We'll let that one set up for a minute over in one side. Come back an hour or so later. That has set up solid as a rock. And the fact that that has changed to a bit of a amber color is at least in part a function of heating that up with the heat gun. If this is a 30-minute epoxy, you heat it with a heat gun, it is no longer a 30-minute epoxy. 5-minute epoxy, you're lucky if you get 2.5 minutes. You're putting heat into this chemical, which is going to accelerate the reaction. It will set up a lot faster. Plan accordingly. Thank you for watching my video. Please tell your friends about my channel. I would appreciate it.